Tonight, on the eve of one of the most consequential elections of our nation's history, we the people prepare for change the best way we know how, by gathering in a moment of solidarity.
We join in a collective embrace across the country.
We hold our heads high.
We steel ourselves.
We set our collective intention for healing, for connection, for justice, and for peace.
We light a candle.
We breathe.
And we move forward into the unknown together.
Welcome
Welcome
to We the People. We the people of the United States,
in order to form a more perfect union,
establish justice,
ensure domestic tranquility,
provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare,
and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity.
do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States.
For the United States of America.
Workers' comrades, we have a situation. Our sister, Miss Millie Williams, is near death. Her 78-year-old heart is no longer strong, and some say sacrificed to the civil rights movement. Miss Millie was the first person to house me barely 2 years ago when this black girl, filled with passion, boarded the bus in Philly for the long ride south. And like you, I left so much behind. We're going to be looking for someone to take over Miss Millie's duties, because no one asked Miss Millie to cook meals for you, voter registration workers in Natchez. But she did. And no one asked her to pray for the freedom riders coming through Sunflower County, but she prayed. And no one asked our sister to house the countless student activists who traveled from Philly, D.C., Detroit, Chicago, New York. But Miss Millie housed and fed them without exception. So let's do right by her. Look to either side of you. A whole new crop of foot soldiers have joined us in the Delta. Welcome. For most of you, it'll soon be clear that you're no longer white in America. You became outside agitators, communists, the moment you crossed the Mason-Dixon line. But don't despair. Look at what you'll get here. Some pretty creative head whippings, followed by colorful language, and topped off with a frothy white substance that lands in your face and runs down your cheek as you kneel in silent protest. Yes, you get to view the world from the back of the bus. We know how to treat you in the movement. Oh, and do yourselves a favor. Leave the anti-war slogans and hippie beads at home. Wrong place, wrong message. Selma is not Saigon. Southeast Asia never denied me basic civil rights. This battle is on America's soil for America's salvation. 2 years ago, I opted for an education of the soul, not the university. And my lessons began right here in the mud of Mississippi when 2 deputies took a pack of cigarettes from my hand and threw them on the ground. Then they arrested me for littering. Recruits, what steps are recommended when you encounter Jim Crow? You know procedure. It's my job to see that you do. Let's be sure that only cigarettes are crushed in the red soil of the Delta. Not dreams. It's hot here. A heat wave. The kind of heat that's generated when people aren't afraid anymore. If you were to die tonight by the hands of Jim Crow, would yours be a wasted life or a meaningful one? Think about it. Is this some mess you can't handle? Barely 2 months ago, I passed on the information of Miss Millie's health. At her funeral ceremony today, Sister Millie Williams answered the final call of freedom. Black and white together, we second-lined her spirit to the other world. Miss Millie, you weren't the first to be seated on the bus. You weren't the first to be educated. You weren't at the head of the line for anything. But among your people, you were first. And to that, we second line.
people are at a threshold. A threshold can be a powerful place, a portal, a moment of change. And the year 2020 has seen a lot of change. A pandemic spreads, fires rage, floods rise, hurricanes blow, protests march, and systems shift.
In April, the author Arundhati Roy wrote that a portal is a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our data banks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us, or we can walk through lightly, with little luggage, ready to imagine another world, and ready to fight for it.
It's heaven here, don't call me crazy. Outcast up people call them lazy. I watch bro die, that shit is crazy. Handcuff my people on a daily. They got a God complex, they see the God in us. Gunpowder, blue badge, black girl dust. Somebody need to pray for me. Call it make-believe, but racism root the tree. Divide my people like a pardon seed. Pardon me, blackness more than what it seems. Don't let the system crush your dreams. My soul eternal when my house clay. Don't let me fade away in spray paint. I miss the hood on a good day. Bye-byes on Sunday. Home remedy for something man-made. My skin all black like Harper Friday. I miss a different Kanye. I've been blasting chants since 10 day. We crucified Jesus on his worst day. Wore out a soul, check the wordplay. Life got one play, but we replay last breaths on replay. Unmask the God that you made. Of immortality on TV screens. Watch how the soil reap that. Watch how the soil come back. Your gold and silver bring the chain back. False prophets claim that. We watch Laquan die. It's heaven here, don't call me crazy. Outcast up people call them lazy. I watch bro die, that shit is crazy. Handcuff my people on a daily. They got a God complex, they see the God in us. Gunpowder, blue badge, black girl dust. Wanna be iced out. Grab a gold chain, it's better when drip drown than the fear of a slave ship. Acid rap was my best trip. Right off the rip, I'm singing Chano. Change the channel, red blood, white tee, his badge, what you know. Chicago look like Tombstone or the war zone, Walla Camp. Girl, get your groove on. We hold our joy like it's glued on. We hold our joy like it's glued on.
At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour out a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke, for it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, and the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and its crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced. The meaning of July 4th for the Negro. Frederick Douglass, July 5th, 1852.
My day ended before it begins. I wake towards today and shake tomorrow loose like stolen change. I crack my neck and yesterday's shadow floods my bedroom floor. How long have I been here? In my little room, I pace the yawning distance between its corners and try to stay afloat. Hostage ritual. I'll wake up better tomorrow. Next month, next year, things will be just like before. I'll have more warmth than the bed sheets I smother alone. Soon, I'll see my friends again. Hear more than the echo of time against this empty room. I check my phone, I call a friend, I play a game, I overdress for no occasion, I pretend to work, I sing myself to sleep. I sleep, I sleep, 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 I stretch, I crack my stiff spine, I try to look forward. I try to remember to pair this fog of silence. I try to find peace. I open the blinds. I close the blinds. I move to my chair. I move to my bed, to my memory. I lose track of the days, weeks, months. I lose track of the names. How long have we been here? My phone is a portal, an obituary lighthouse. The world gets more terrifying and ambient every passing year, month, week, day, hour. I'd go outside, but we're being killed. I fill my lungs with the same air I've been breathing for months. I'm here, still, and feel like I'm running a race with no cure. How long are we going to be here? Will we transcend this distance? Will we break this loop? My day ended before it begins.
My name is Brianna Harlan, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. My community has undergone a lot of changes recently with the death of Breonna Taylor and the protests and the uprisings that's happened. Louisville used to be a city that thought that it was progressive and that had the performance of being progressive, I'd say. A lot of conversations, a lot of initiatives, but when it got to actually tackling the issues and making big waves of change or even essential changes, it wasn't really happening. And so I think this has been a wake-up call for a lot of people, realizing that they don't live in a city that is as ethical or equitable as they imagine they did, that it isn't maybe such a nice and lovely place as much as they thought that it was, and that they have been complicit in a city that is one of the top most segregated economically cities in the country, and what that looks like and what the effects of that truly are. So there's a lot of tension there and a lot of frustration as people are living with the weight of this being very present for the first time in a long time. The most pressing issue to me, as somebody who's been an organizer both in institutions and grassroots, and who also does creative interventions as an artist, is just education, I think, and education around these issues. I think a lot of people don't know what to do, or they are following leadership, or they are just frustrated and doing what they feel like they can. And I think collective and creative pressure is going to be essential, and also rest is going to be essential. But all of these things, being able to look at this as a holistic issue that we're dealing with as a society, has to come from education, or will come from education. And that's the type of education that comes from building relationships and learning from each other. But that's also finally being able to say, how do our systems work? What are these points of oppression that we need to be pushing weight on? what are the ways that we can do that? How do we show up in all of the ways? As in, I support the way that you resist and you support the way that I resist. And that way we have collective resistance across the board. And hopefully that can move things forward or create an environment or a culture shift where we're participating fully in the democracy that we're supposed to have, right? And so for the future, I just hope that that's what we can do. We can stay activated, but in a way that's sustainable and holistic, and that it's a part of our lives and a part of our culture and a part of the way that we function as a society, supporting each other in the fullness of how we show up in the fullness of our needs, so that we can hopefully build something better, take advantage of all of this to build something better.
The Constitution begins with the words, "We the people of the United States," in order to form a more perfect union. Think about how things were in 1787. Who were we the people? Certainly not people who were held in human bondage, because the original Constitution preserved slavery. Certainly not women, whatever their color, and not even men who owned no property. It was a rather elite group. We the people. But I think the genius of our Constitution is what Justice Thurgood Marshall said. He said he doesn't celebrate the original Constitution, but he does celebrate what the Constitution has become, now well over 2 centuries. That is the concept of we the people has become ever more inclusive. People who were left out at the beginning, slaves, women, men without property, Native Americans, were not part of we the people. Now all the once left out people are part of our political constituency. We are certainly a more perfect union as a result of that. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, 2019.
I'm a Middle Eastern immigrant, queer Muslim man. I'm a theater artist that makes his living on the West Coast. So, 2020 actually has been kind of complete garbage for any facet of my identity that I can think of. As we faced the closure of our beloved industry thanks to COVID and our government's horrible handling of the virus, then there was the horrific handling and treatment of Muslims and immigrants in the hands of this current administration. And then, of course, all of the West Coast, including Rogue Valley, the Southern Oregon community that I live in, went up in flames. And, it's really easy to feel like this moment is really about survival, because it is. This election is about the survival of those of us who are the most at risk anyway. But then there are moments where you have those moments of hope. And I think the Southern Oregon and the OSF response to these wildfires was one of those. The most beautiful depiction of what OSF folks and company members are capable of, and really what Southern Oregon is capable of. Because before we could actually get our bearings and try to see what was happening, there was already a donation center. Our company management was already offering housing to those who most needed it. We started with our own community, the OSF folks who were impacted by the fires, but very quickly it expanded. And I was so proud to work for an organization that actually decided to help anyone who needed it. Because as is the case most of the time, those who don't have English skills or those undocumented folks in our communities who do some of the most important labor in our communities were not receiving the help they needed. And we decided to find a way to connect with them. And we just finished our gala where we were able to share the proceeds with 10 organizations who are doing frontline work in the Rogue Valley. So when something like this happens, it actually puts everything into perspective. It reminds you why we make stories. It reminds you that actually our job as theater artists, but also nonprofit theaters, is to be in service and to be surrounded by folks that do this work so honestly and for absolutely no celebration of their contribution, but just to actually help and to lift up each other through this horrific moment, really. That's when you realize, well, maybe we'll make it. Maybe whatever happens tomorrow, and I really have hopes for that, people will vote for change and for inclusion and for love. But even if that weren't to happen, I know that those of us who are out there doing this work, and those of us who are getting to support those people who are doing this work, are going to make it. We will fight, we will go for it, and we will try to do our best in the face of so much cruelty and so much loss and so much devastation. And I guess my hope is that we find ways to continue to uplift those of us who are doing this, who are working so hard selflessly to do better by others. And that as they do this work, we don't question their humanity. I find myself fed up with having to constantly talk about how trans lives matter, how Black lives matter, as if in our art and in our narratives of ourselves, we first have to convince others that we're human, which is in itself the most dehumanizing act. And my hope for our future as an American theater, and really as a country, is that we find a way to give each other space for our full, complex, flawed humanity as we try to work out our differences. I am hopeful. I am an immigrant. I am an artist. I am stubborn. I do feel like we will get there eventually. I just hope that we can take care of each other while we do.
Choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be led by a coward is to be controlled by all the coward fears. To be led by a fool is to be led by the opportunists who control the fool. To be led by a thief is to offer up your most precious treasures to be stolen. To be led by a liar is to ask to be told lies. To be led by a tyrant is to sell yourself and everyone you love into slavery. Octavia E. Butler, Parable of the Talents.
We the people.
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 Believe that families belong together.
We'll teach our children to love.
Nosotros, el pueblo de los Estados Unidos. Our ancestors' wildest dreams come true.
We the people know that respect is a choice.
We the people want what's best for our families and our neighbors.
We the people of the United States of America believe that Black Lives Matter.
We the people
are people with disabilities.
We have the right to make our own decisions.
We have the right to vote.
We have the right to be treated equally,
just like everyone else.
We the people.
We the people will march on until victory is won.
We are a 1,400 multi-all-the-things congregation, Black, White, Asian, Indigenous, Latinx, gay, straight, bi, trans, non-binary, questioning, old, young, toddlers to seniors. And what binds us together in all of our difference is our commitment to what we think of as revolutionary love. Love that is fierce and just and demands equality and equity and fairness. So when this moment came, when COVID came, in March of 2020, we did our final worship inside the sanctuary on March 15th. We preached, a few of us sang, we danced to one of our favorite songs, We Shall Overcome, by Titus Burgess, and then everything went digital. Everything went digital. Holy Week, Easter, digital. Our annual Justice Conference, which was planned for mid-April, went digital. We scrambled, we pivoted, we learned how to make phone calls to our congregants. We set up tons of small groups and ways for people to connect to each other. And we make a worship movie every Sunday. What we have found is that we're lonely for each other. We miss hugs. We are a huggy bunch, a touchy-feely bunch. It's been said that our worship is both with the diversity of the subway, but it makes you feel like home. In truth, it's Cirque du Soleil and Broadway. It makes you feel like you're at home. We are affectionate and demonstrative. We hold each other's tears and hold each other's laughters. And there is sadness that we don't have that kind of connection. Absolutely, for sure. But we've also found that we've been able to reach people around the globe, literally, who would never have had a chance to experience East Village diversity or to experience, frankly, a faith life like ours, where Jesus is our dude, but he's not our only dude, where we love God with all we have and love our neighbor as ourself, and we think about everything else as commentary. From Paris to Ireland, 47 states and 23 countries, people are coming through our digital doors for anti-racism trainings, for lessons on how to hold our children in this time of COVID, for connections around LGBTQIA justice issues or race or class. We have found that we can have a congregation anywhere, and people are finding that out about us. The things that have mattered to us most in this time are the things that matter to us always, which is that everybody's body is beautiful and amazing and gifted and strong and to be celebrated. So we have been decimated by the ongoing violence against Black and brown people. We're decimated by what happens at the border. We're decimated by the way it feels like a knee is always on the neck of Black people. We are destroyed by the violence in the streets, the way innocent people are violated, beaten by police officers. We have police officers that we're in strong relationship with in the 9th Precinct. And so we are just destroyed by the unraveling of democracy, by the ongoing persistent nature of white supremacy. We're also worried about this generation of children, like what's going to happen to these kids who are sheltered in place and don't get to play with their peers and don't get to learn social skills. But we believe the environment, poverty, violence, immigration issues, all of these center around the pernicious sense of racism and white supremacy in this nation. And we believe in freedom. And so we're not going to rest until the life of every Black mother's son is as valuable and important as the life of a white mother's son. What we hope to see, all of us hope to see, is that this election leads to an administration and to up and down tickets, that people who will come into office and speak truth to power, to have integrity, to be kind, to be civil, to build partnerships across race, gender, sexuality, religion, faith, and political party, so that we can heal what's broken in America. It's broken. We could say America was built on a fault line called race. But if we together can find our shared humanity, we're hoping that people of all faiths and people of no faith will work to make that happen. We're looking for love to heal us all.